Let's go back to that issue of the Costa Coffee, though, facing a boycott over this cartoon advert of a trans man, i.e. a woman, after a double mastectomy. And no hint that this is a person who's survived cancer, and wonderfully the mastectomy has helped save their lives. No, healthy breasts on a healthy woman being cut off. And we're all supposed to go, oh, how wonderful and inclusive. Well, let's talk about this with James Esses. He's a social commentator and co-founder of Thoughtful Therapists and has been a wonderful champion speaking out on these issues, particularly in terms of the protection of children. Good morning to you, James.
Morning, Julia.
I have to say, I saw your tweet about this. I was so distressed. I felt physically sick when I saw this image. It's quite clearly, a trans man, i.e. a woman, and you can see the stitches, the scars of having their breasts removed. The idea that we should be celebrating this. Now, I'm so repulsed and horrified by this image. I cannot believe that this passed muster, but this is what means you're a nice company these days, apparently.
Oh, look, it's absolutely crazy. When I first saw the image yesterday, somebody sent it to me. I was hoping and praying that it was some sort of wind-up, that it had been photoshopped. Yeah. But I knew in my gut that it was true, because we're seeing this time and time again from these corporations. I mean, it's interesting that you just had Lloyd Russell Moyle on. I've got a few things to say to him myself, and he had the audacity to accuse those individuals who take umbrage with this of being judgmental. Yeah. I mean, this is the same individual who's told parents previously that if they view their children according to biological sex, they're being quote unquote abusive. So anyway, that's
judgy. Yes, it depends on your judgment. Yes, so biological fact is judgment now.
Well, this is it. And look, this cartoon is offensive for two reasons. Firstly, as has already been touched upon, the impact that it's having on women who have had to undergo mastectomies, for example, for breast cancer. And here they are looking at basically the glorification of removing healthy breasts, where there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. Yeah. Whatsoever. But more importantly is the impact that this is having on children, being surrounded by this imagery. Yes. And having basically said to them as young girls, well, look, you can get your breast chopped off, you can become a man, and you can be happy. You can even feel euphoric as a result of it. I mean, it's so dangerous and damaging, particularly to young girls who may already despise their bodies.
Yeah, and exactly. And we see this again and again, and we see so much in terms of the growth of young girls going into wanting to transition, a massive explosion of that. And we know that there's big social contagion from there, and they're being told online and by these sort of messages, it's fine, it's okay, and it's healthy. And you know what? It's a mental health disorder and needs to be treated as such. And that's not to be unkind or cruel. I just think, people should be treated with respect and kindness. But we've got to stop celebrating this in the way that we are doing. Look, we're seeing since lockdown a lot of push on this front. And you'll be as horrified as I am by this study that has come out today from the University College London and also from the Institute of Physical Studies, that shows this massive increase in the damage to children as a result of lockdown, saying that lockdown harmed nearly half of all children in the UK. Behavioural and emotional development has been harmed across the board. We also know eating disorders on the rise for children as well. This is all so worrying, isn't it? And it's getting worse.
Oh, so worrying, but not surprising at all. I mean, children being isolated at home for that period, having nothing to do but go online, where we know they can come across all sorts of unseemly materials. It's not surprising, but I feel it's a very difficult position for parents and children in all of this, particularly because parents are increasingly concerned of the type of content that children are being taught when they're at school. So if the children are at home, they're isolated and online, looking up God knows what. And if they're in school, they're being spoon-fed, God knows what ideology. I mean, what are parents to do?
Yeah, I mean that is the thing. Parents do feel that they're completely helpless in this, and when you've got all these big firms as well telling you that this is fine, and you're arguing against them, and then you're told you're a bigot and judgmental if you don't agree with it, it puts parents in a very difficult position.
It does. But more importantly, it puts children in a very difficult position. But what's clear is whether they're in the school or they're at the home, they're being fed this ideology. We need to do something about this. I mean, I see that people are calling to boycott.
Absolutely.
And, people have to vote with their feet. These corporations need to get the message that if they're going to push dangerous ideology, they're going to face the consequences.
Absolutely. With you all the way on that, James Esses. Thank you very much indeed.